Welcome to another edition of James Martell's Coffee Talk, where James, successful publisher, speaker, and author of Online Success for Non-Techies, talks frankly and openly with experts from within the internet marketing industry about strategies and techniques you can use to develop a successful online presence for your personal or corporate brand. Here's your host, James Martell.
Yes, welcome to Coffee Talk. Today we're going to be speaking with a leading social media expert, Stephanie Lichtenstein, about easy and exciting ways you can use Facebook to build both local and online awareness for your company, while at the same time increasing customer engagement and loyalty, and acquire new customers by simply taking advantage of the many free tools and services Facebook makes available to business owners. And if you're wondering why Facebook, as of May 2012, according to Wikipedia, Facebook has over 900 million active users, with more than half of them using Facebook on a mobile device. It's no wonder, with more and more people getting their news and information online, that the more traditional forms of advertising that many businesses have relied on for years is no longer working as effectively as it once did. Combine this with the explosive growth of the internet and mobile devices, it's not surprising to see why local businesses are looking to the internet, including Facebook, as a source for new customers and new prospects. Stephanie Lichtenstein is the president and founder of Micromedia Marketing, an international social media agency. Throughout her career, she has worked with internet retailer top 500 companies and Hispanic brands. Stephanie is an industry advocate, public speaker, and blogger for what matters in social media. Stephanie, welcome to Coffee Talk.
Thank you for having me, James.
Facebook. I know many people use Facebook as a photo album between their family members and communication tool between friends and associates and family, but Facebook has grown into an absolute powerful medium for businesses to attract new customers and prospects. So it's not surprising that business owners are looking to Facebook as a possible source, but of course, if they've never dug into Facebook from that angle, they're probably a little bit confused and probably wondering if it's actually a good place for them to focus their limited time and their limited resources. So in this call, let's talk about that. Let's kind of pull back the covers on that a little bit and share with business owners some of the strategies and some of the tips and advice that you give the business owners when it comes to Facebook, because I know they do, as I said, have limited resources in the area of time and money, and of course everybody these days seems to be getting emails from people promising them internet riches and great ways to build new customers online. Some legit, some not. In a lot of cases, they're still in need of new customers. So with Facebook now, why is it really worthwhile for businesses to take it seriously?
That's a great question. You might have limited time, but Facebook is a great platform that you can use not only for what you were saying, which is more personal photos and things like that. There's a complete other side of Facebook that's all related to businesses. And actually, to give you a little more statistics, you were saying they were at 900 million. They're actually going to reach this month in August 1 billion followers that are on Facebook. There's almost 3 billion likes each and every day, and people spend about 20 minutes a day on Facebook. So as you said, a lot of them, 425 million, are mobile users. 57% are female, 43% are male. So how does this relate to your business? You have everyone that could possibly be a client that you want to target. You have them all on Facebook. And yes, they're there for personal reasons, but they also interact a lot with businesses and can get to know your brand a little bit more. So this works really well for brick-and-mortar stores. Brick-and-mortar stores can actually do in-store promotions to get people to like their brand. So if someone walks into your store one time, you want to try to get them to like you on Facebook, because then you can retain them and turn them into long-term brand loyal customers. Versus if they just walk into your store and never see you again, never hear from you again, chances are you can leave a better impression on them if you find a way to connect with them on Facebook. Now, in-store promotions is a great way. Now, that doesn't cost you money. You can actually do a printout that shows where you're located on Facebook and maybe incentivize them for a like or give them a reason to come back. But this really only takes time. It doesn't take a lot of money. It's a free platform. One important thing I want to touch on is the difference between that personal side of Facebook and then the business side. The business side allows you to do so much more. So one of the key things is you want to make sure you set up a business page where someone can like your page. This is different from the personal side. So if you create a business fan page, you can actually put a lot of information that's relatable to your brand, and people can search and find you based on keywords and based on location. So we have some good examples, and I want to give an example of a real local business that I actually am a part of, and I actually get reminders, and it's a good example. A gym that I'm a member of in Miami is called M-Cycle Gym. Now, this isn't a big chain gym. This is a boutique gym. They do a really good job, and they're very personable, and they promote that they're on Facebook within the gym. So what happens is, of course, I went and I liked them on Facebook. Not only do they share daily updates, but I can see what their schedules are like, which right now, if it's a Friday night and I'm on Facebook and I'm finishing up work, I might see that they're having a spinning class and they're nearby, so I can get motivated to go. So they're updating me on information that I need to know. Recently, they posted their Friday schedule for August 3rd, so I can see that information right there. They're also promoting an email list that you can sign up for. They show their hours. They show their phone number. They show their address. All of this information I might want to know on the go. Are they open? Do I have enough time to get there? What time are they open till? All of this is readily available, and I can also see other friends that like this gym, and I can see other recommendations from people that say good things about this gym. If I happen to be looking for something, I would see that actually 5 of my friends like this page, 6 of them were here, and I read a ton of positive feedback and recommendations from people, and this is just from a local gym. Now, 78% of consumers trust peer recommendations. So this is changing the way that people look for services, that people look for products, because they're looking to what their friends are doing. So it's changing the way that people shop and people select even where they want to work out. And that's very different to how things used to be. With the yellow pages, you wouldn't be able to get feedback from your friends and family. Now you can.
It's interesting you mentioned yellow pages. I was actually asking our grown adults here around the Martel household. We've got Justin, he's 24, Adam's 25, Shelby's 21. Then the younger one, Victoria, she just turned 17. And I asked them, how many of you use the yellow pages? And they just give me this blank stare. What? They just can't even relate to it. Or how often do you read the local newspaper? Never. Obviously, media is changing a lot. It doesn't mean nobody reads the newspaper, of course,
right.
And nobody uses the yellow pages, but there's definitely a huge transition going on from the former traditional styles of media to this thing we call the Internet. And mobile devices, maybe you could touch on that a little bit, because I think you mentioned 425 million people are using mobile. Mobile's really coming on strong for business.
Yeah, so what happens is now a lot of the searches that people do on their mobile phones are done through mobile apps or through Googling, but it's all being changed and going more towards reviews. So if someone writes Facebook recommendations about you, or also if your friends happen to like a topic that you're searching for, and I can keep using the gym as an example. If I'm looking for a place that I can go cycling, it's going to actually pick up my location. So it's all about, the mobile is all about geo-targeting. So now they see that I'm in a specific area, I'm looking for cycling, and they'll actually tie in reviews from friends and see recommendations from friends. That's why if you have a local business, setting up a local business page, you can tie in your address with all that information, and you can also have those recommendations there as an option. And it's good to incentivize people to write those recommendations, to educate people about where they can find you on Facebook for the people that already go to your store. But for the people that haven't found you yet, if you have those recommendations and you have activity on your page, they will find you through their mobile phone, and they will find whatever is the most relevant in that area. So it's very easy to become the expert in cycling for South Miami, which is what these people have done with a few hundred followers, they have about 500 likes on Facebook right now. They're very active in their community. They're updating pictures. They're showing tips from their trainers. They're just very involved, and it only takes them a little time to update this on a daily basis. So once a day, if you're sharing what's going on internally, people they don't want to see something that happened 2 months ago. You want to be having fresh updates on a daily basis ideally Monday through Friday on your pages, someone does do research on you on their phone. They want to decide on the spot whether they're going to go to you or to someone else a couple blocks away. If they see that you're active on your page and that you respond to people and that you have recommendations from people, they're more likely to go to you. And this is something that you can easily build for yourself.
It's truly an amazing opportunity. As you're chatting there, I'm thinking back to the days when we used to do a lot of local newspaper advertising. If we wanted to, update our page or update our ad every day, we couldn't because the paper came out only 3 times a week.
Right.
But if we wanted to, it was going to cost us somewhere in the neighborhood of $350 to $450 per ad every time we put it in, and I always used to cringe because I knew in 2 days that newspaper would be in the trash, gone. Whereas with Facebook, and you mentioned that people spend an average of 20 minutes a day on Facebook, we get the ability, and it's not really an ad, it's much better than an ad. You mentioned that, interact with your customers and to reach out to them, give them those fresh updates. It's quite a time for small businesses of all sizes who are looking to reach out to an audience. Mobile devices now, let's dig into that just a little bit more because I know it's really kind of a sleeper that's happened. All of a sudden, it seems, in the last year or two, everybody, for the most part, the masses for sure, have a smartphone in their pocket. And I know Facebook's got apps that you can download into your iPhone or your Google device or any one of your smartphones where it'll tie you directly into Facebook. And so there really is an integration of all these medias now. Could you talk a little bit more about, and maybe add in some mobile devices, tablets, of course. We think computers all the time, but there's a whole new world brewing here.
Yes. So it's not only an iPhone, it's also Android. They have so many applications that can tie in to Facebook, but it's also the iPad. And it's become known that a lot of people do their research on where they're going to shop, do all that through their iPad. And some of the applications that you can download, and this will even help you when you're managing your own page. Because if you think about it, you were talking about the newspaper and how that costs you money every time. Making an update every day, that's going to cost you 10 minutes of your time or 30 minutes of your time. And then having your own mobile device to update and to respond to people, that's a very easy way for you to upkeep with what's going on your page. And Facebook actually recently released a Facebook Pages application. It's all free, the application that you download. And what happens is it gives you notifications to when updates are going on your page. So it's very easy to see when you need to respond to someone. And that's important, is being able to respond to someone in real time, meaning someone asks you something, at 9 in the morning, you don't really want to answer them at 5 o'clock at the end of the day because they probably moved on to something else. Mobile's a really easy way to keep up with things from the business side. And then from the consumer side, it's just the easiest way for them to find things on the go. And that's the mentality nowadays. They want things right away. It's that instant gratification of being able to find you or find your phone number or find your address. They probably don't have that readily available, but they're definitely going to search it. A lot of people will just download the free Facebook app and they'll be able to go and like pages on the spot through that application. And then businesses can use the Facebook Pages app to be able to monitor the activity that's going on their pages and send replies and make sure that they're doing good interactions with whoever's on their page.
I visit a little local pub in the area here called Saba. It's been a little experiment for me. I got to know the owner of the pub a few years ago, and she's since sold, and there's a new owner in, and he's on the ball as well. But what was happening with her, and it was very interesting because she was not tuned in at all to the Internet. She knew there was business there, but she really hadn't had the time to sit down and think it through or do any investigation or really even know where to start. And I have a tendency to work in there on my laptop in the afternoons, or sometimes I'll go in the evenings. And she all of a sudden comes up to me, and she was puzzled because what had happened was the phone started ringing. And they do a lot of fundraisers at this little pub, and people will come in and they'll raise money for the local baseball teams and various things. And what had happened was she comes up to me and goes, I'm getting all kinds of phone calls all of a sudden. So I decided to ask, where are you finding out about us? And the woman on the other end of the phone said Facebook. And what had happened was somebody had posted the event on Facebook and used the event calendar feature in Facebook to promote the fundraiser that was going to be happening at Sawbucks. And needless to say, they filled it up, sold it out, And now, a few years later, if you go to the SawbucksPub.com webpage, two of the sliders on the homepage promote nothing but their fundraisers and the ability to hold fundraisers in the pub. So sometimes this comes at us in different directions, and Facebook has got a lot of features, and that would be one. What are some of the features within the types of pages? We've got, you say, business pages, which I'd like to talk to you more about in a moment. And then I think we've got calendars. Give us a landscape.
Okay, yeah. One thing that's really great about Facebook is that you can add tabs. So when you talk about events, you can actually add an entire events calendar. So you can plan ahead if you know what's going on for, from now until, say, the end of the year. You can go in and put all these events in there, and then people can invite their friends. They can share it with their friends. It becomes a lot more viral. But you have to think about also what's going to benefit your store the most and what do you want people to know about. Because if you want them to know about it, that's something that you can add an additional tab about on Facebook. It's kind of like your website. Like, what components do you want on your website? Like, what specific pages do you want on your website? That's kind of how the tabs can work for you as well. A lot of people like to use tabs to put more information than would fit on just one regular post that they want everyone to see when they come in. So photos is always like a default tab that people can set. So people will always see how many photos you have, what's going on. They'll see your likes. You can add a map to where you're located. You can add an events calendar, like you said. And then if you have other social media channels, you can also promote your pages on Twitter. You pull in all your YouTube videos in a tab. And then you can make custom tabs where people can sign up for emails, which is a great way to get in contact with people and send them special offers. And then depending on your business, you can show some of your products and services. I want to use another example of this because there is someone that's a local company. They started with one restaurant in Miami Beach, and then they had another one, and they did everything so well with their social media. And you know what happened to them? They got bought out by Applebee's, and now they're going to expand out of South Florida, and they're just going to go everywhere, and they're going to be huge. So this company is called Lime Fresh Mexican Grill, and on Facebook, they're facebook.com/LimeFreshMex. And if you look at their photos or likes, you'll see, obviously for them, what's most important for them is the food. So the first custom tab that they added was a Lime menu. So if I've never been to Lime and I find out about it through one of my friends because they share an event with me, and I want to go look at their page, right away I can see that they're very active. I can look at their menu right on the spot on Facebook. I can also see videos, I can see recipes, events, and I can also see that they're hiring in certain locations. They even have their blog tied into this. So you can go as basic or as advanced as you want, but if you think about your business and what would benefit people the most for them to know about you, that's something that people can add. And again, it's free to add these tabs. The only thing that it takes is pulling in a little graphic or even a little text, but it's free to set this up. For a restaurant, having the menu is a great thing to have. For a gym, having their schedule is a great thing to have. So you need to think about what you want your customers to know about you and what you want potential customers to know about you when they get to your page. And that's a great way to not only educate them, but get them excited and get them to want to come into your store.
You mentioned earlier responding in real time, and I know to some business owners, they probably this is a new concept to them. They don't typically do this. Maybe because the mindset's a little bit different. They're thinking the internet is this different animal. Meanwhile, if somebody was to call the small business, of course they're going to respond in real time. And if somebody was to walk through the front doors of, that restaurant or the little local pub or the little brick and mortar business down the street, the chiropractor, of course they're going to respond to them in real time. But it is a little bit different online because we're not seeing them face to face. You mentioned the Facebook Pages app that gives instant page activity. As soon as somebody posts something on the page, they're instantly alerted to their mobile device.
Let's talk about time and time management and how you can keep up with this. And yes, that's a great example. If someone walks in your store, of course you're going to talk to them, and if they call you, you're going to answer the phone. Well, this is the new line of communication. This is how people find information, and this is how people share and how people ask questions. So a lot of times, you can gain new customers just by answering their question. If they say, hey, Lime, I'm looking at your menu online, and I'm located in Coral Gables, which is a place in Miami. Do you have a restaurant nearby? Well, ideally, the sooner you respond to them and tell them, hey, here's where our Coral Gables restaurant is, the sooner that person can go and check it out, especially if in that time they're probably asking you before they want to go have lunch. Ideally, you want to answer them in real time. It means right when it's happening. But that's okay. For the most part, people don't expect responses 2 seconds later. Within a couple hours or an hour or 30 minutes, depending on how active your page is and depending on what you're offering. If it's something that's very time sensitive, then I would monitor it more closely, and if you have a lot of activity as well. You can set up email alerts. So when you have a fan page for a business, you can have email alerts coming in so that you see every time updates are happening. And on your mobile phone, when you have the Facebook Pages application and you download it, you'll get a notification on your phone. And even if you want to get a push notification, it'll pop up on your screen and it'll show you every time you get an update. If you don't want that many updates, you turn push notifications off and you just go and check the app whenever you have time. But let's talk about time management a little bit. It can really take a small business about 30 minutes to an hour a day to really monitor their pages. The real point is to have a plan behind what you're doing, and if you plan things out ahead of time, the day-to-day is not going to take so much time. It will really take you about 30 minutes to an hour a day. You just want to post an update, and then you just want to monitor and make sure that if someone's asking a question, you're there to answer them, just like you would be over the phone. And it's even more important online because people can also see what's going on. Like if I call a business and they don't answer me, they're too busy or something like that, no one's going to know about that but me, and maybe if I tell someone else about it. But on social media, people can see, everything is shown there. If something was posted 4 months ago, or if something was posted 2 days ago and no one responded, or if you did respond, that reflects really well upon you. And that's why I like LimeFresh Next, because if you look at their page, they've branded themselves so well, and they started with one small restaurant. And now they have dozens of restaurants, and they got bought out by a bigger company, and they're growing so much because their attention to detail with social media and with their branding has been amazing. If you look at their page, every time someone writes something, they do take the time to reply back. Someone wrote on their page, it says 23 hours ago, she said something about, they were talking about avocado trees, which obviously they sell guacamole at the store. So it's something that's relevant to their brand. Someone writes something 23 hours ago. LimeFresh writes something 22 hours ago. So they took about an hour to respond. And, they know her name. They know she's saying she's from South Florida. So they're thanking her, and they're saying that sounds good, Beverly, and they're having a conversation with her. I bet you that Taco Bell isn't doing the same thing. So Beverly now, not only does she like them and she's gone there, she's going to start growing more of an attachment to LimeFresh because they really take that time out to respond to her, and they make her feel special. And they're also, talking about something that's relevant, and they're sharing, a little more information about their products that they sell. That extra step means a difference, and it makes a difference to people, and the amount of recommendations that they get from people keeps on growing, and that's because of the time that they take and the attention that they have to all these little details.
You mentioned daily updates. Actually, before we get into daily updates, let me ask you to break down business page for us, if you will. I'm actually looking at the LimeFresh MEX page right now. For listeners, break down what we're seeing on a page. There's different components. We've got a graphic across the top. We've got a graphic inset. Explain how all this works.
Absolutely. And this is important for everyone to know. It's similar to how the top part of the page is similar to how the personal pages look now. But we have a small 200 by 200 image, which in this position you could have your logo. Usually it would be your logo, and it would include your brand name. And then at the top, that's a place for you to display images that have to do with your brand. Obviously, they sell quesadillas, and so they're showing a good image of that, and they're saying, dang, quesadillas. And that's how their brand is. It's very fun. Their tagline is Nacho Mama's Mexican Restaurant. So, you have to think about, I wouldn't speak like this on my page because my page is about social media tips and I speak in a different way, but social media is very fun. And they've had fun with their brand and they've done a good job. And that's how they speak. So if you look at their page, that's what you can expect to hear from them. But you can also see they're almost at 16,000 likes. They have 246 people talking about them and almost 7,000 people that actually checked into their location. So what we're looking at, where it says Dang Quesadillas, that is called the cover photo. And with the cover photo, that's a place for you to have pictures. Now, it's very important for you to understand there are guidelines. You cannot post promotions. You cannot post call to actions here. You can only post images. You can post a little bit of content, but you can't say 50% off or go to our website. They don't want you to post any contact information. The contact information goes a little bit below. So below the logo, you'll see there's a section that says About. When you own that page, you can click on the About section and you can edit that information. It's very important. One thing, I do love Lime Fresh's social media, but one thing that I would recommend to them that they don't have here, a link to their website. So where it says Nacho Mama's Mexican Restaurant, they could also add their website link so that people can actually click on it and go to their website. A local business looks a little bit different. Their page has gotten a little bit bigger. So I'm actually going to go to back to mCycle Gym. It's facebook.com/mCycleGym. And looking at that, this is what a local business page looks like. They have their logo. They have a cover photo. The cover photo shows they did a big mud run with a lot of people that work out at their gym. So they look like they had a really fun time. And then below, it shows that they're a fitness center, they're a gym, and it has their address, their phone number, and their store hours. So if you're a local store, you want to set your page up as a local business. And Facebook is actually really easy to use. Like, it gives you a step-by-step. So when you go to set up a page, you select what kind of page do you want to set up, and you select local business or you select company, and that kind of changes the format of the page. The page on mCycle is set up as a local business so that all your contact information and store hours are right there in the About section. That's where you can display that information. Right next to that are the tabs that I was talking about earlier. They have photos, they have an email sign-up, a map, and how many likes they have. They can even take it a step further and add more tabs. They created a Twitter page, they can add that. They created a schedule that, I think their schedule updates a lot, so that's why they just update you on the Facebook page. But if they had a set schedule, they could have that schedule on a tab right there so that anyone looking for it could find it. And tabs are just kind of an extension, and it just makes your page better. It's kind of like having different links on your website. So I would kind of look at what you have on your website and see if that kind of information you might want to display on your page. You know, sometimes you might want to share the story of your company. If your company's been a family company for generations and you have a nice story and you already spent time creating that on a website, you can also share that story on a tab within Facebook, because usually people want to stay within Facebook, and that's why you want to try to pull in these tabs, kind of keep them there on that page. And then if we scroll below, that's where it says write something. And it's very similar to how you would write something on your own Facebook page. When you're the owner of the page, you see different things. If you're just looking at a page as a fan, you don't see a lot of information that people see when they own a page. Owning a page just means that you set up the page and it's tied to your personal page. No one knows that your personal page is tied to your brand page. Only you see that. Because some people, I get a lot of questions, and some people are concerned. Sometimes they don't want to tie their business to their personal page. That's just something that you're able to see. Other people cannot see that unless you decide to feature yourself as a page owner, which is not automatic, and it's not something that you have to do. What's interesting about updating and writing posts on your page versus writing a status update on your personal page is the amazing thing about Facebook pages is there are statistics behind this. There are demographics behind this. And it's something that gets a little more detailed, but it's actually very easy to see. But Facebook on business pages allows you not only to see who's in your page. Basically, that means I can go to my page right now, and I can see if my page is mostly men or women, and if they're in Miami and New York, and, you know, if they're outside of the U.S., do I have people in Canada? Do I have people in France? I can see all of that. I can see if they speak English or Spanish. This is fantastic information that normally we wouldn't be able to get our hands on, and now we have it all at our fingertips. not only do we have that information, we also know what people like. If I like pets, that information might be on my profile. So if you're a vet and you want to find people that like pets, this is all information that we can see. So it's just amazing. It's just endless opportunities. The more time you invest in it, the more you'll get back out of it. Posting, so when you write something, when you have a business page, they actually have a new feature that lets you post things at a certain time, at certain locations. You can make the post public, or you can target the post by location or language. Facebook actually just launched something a couple of days ago, and it's called Page Post Targeting Enhanced. This is huge. This is new, and it hasn't launched to everybody yet, but it actually lets you focus a message that you're sending out, and you can focus your message to a specific language, a specific location, an age, a gender, even life. So if I share that I'm going to a conference that's in New York, and obviously I think, the conference is in English, I can share that I'm going to that conference, and I can share only to people in New York that already are associated with that conference. It's very targeted, very specific, and Facebook is getting better and better with the updates that they're making, because that's going to be great for businesses, especially if you have a business and you have different audiences. If you have a store and it's a clothing store and you sell clothes to women and you sell to men and you also sell to children, you can start changing the way that you're posting and not just share the same message with everyone, but you can share the right messages with the right people.
You mentioned updates, and interesting, and going back to the realization and the reality that a lot of business owners don't have a lot of time, and they're maybe thinking, this all sounds great, but I don't have that kind of time to do this thing. What's happening at Sawbucks could probably happen in most businesses. The owner, he pops in and out, as most owners do, and he's a busy guy, great guy, but he's not really that active in the business. He's got a manager that takes care of things. But when it comes to social media, the manager's not that up on it either, and he's not really interested in it. But I'll tell you, the bartender, Rich, is very interested in it. He's got his mobile device there, and he's interested in learning. I would imagine this 30 minutes a day, if you put the right person in the company that has the mobile device, that's already into it, maybe you're having trouble getting them off the device while they're working anyhow. Now you can give them a good opportunity to get on the device while they're working and actually accomplish something for that business. You mentioned posting an update. What is that? What would a business owner, give us some examples of what they could post.
Okay, yeah, that's a great question, and I see the scenario you gave with the CEO and the bartender. That happens so much of the time, because the CEO is usually the one that is, in a lot of meetings and doing other things, so they might not be the right person to update the social media. So what it means to post something is to actually share some sort of information. So this can be content, so you might write something about your company, or they can share a photo or a video, or they can share an event. These are all options on what you want to share with your audience. So that bartender might say, it's Friday and we're having happy hour between the hours of 4 and 7, and he can add that as an event. Or he might snap a photo or a video of the live band that's playing in their bar. And this is all stuff that's going on kind of behind the scenes that if I wasn't at the bar, I wouldn't know. Or if I hadn't gone to the bar's website, I wouldn't know. But the thing is, I'm not going to go to the bar's website. I am, however, going to log into Facebook. And if I see that, oh, wow, that band's playing there tonight, I'm more likely to go in that night versus if I had just found it another way. I mean, the best way is to get the information from the bartender who's actually there, who can actually take a photo with his phone. It takes him 2 seconds, and he can write a little update about what's going on in the name of the band. Now, it's very important to make sure that whoever's in charge of running the pages knows your brand and knows your goals as well. So sometimes we talk about establishing a plan of action and maybe even an FAQ for what kind of questions do you think someone might ask, or what kind of guidelines do you want. Just like you would give someone training that is joining your company, and you might want to train them on how you want them to treat your customers and what you want them to say and who you're trying to talk to and what your brand voice is. The same thing goes for social media. Just because social media is fun and just because a bar is fun doesn't mean you can just hand anyone the keys to the social media. And I say the keys because I think of it's kind of like handing someone the keys to your car. that's your company. That's what people see. I mean, you want to make sure you don't just hand anyone the keys to your car. You want to have a little precaution and make sure that they know how to drive. So absolutely, it's a fantastic idea, and it's usually better to have someone, either a professional manager page or have someone that's trained or someone that works for you that has that sense for social media, because it's something that it's not rocket science. It's very easy to pick up, and it's good if they have fun with it. It's better to pick someone that's excited about social media, and usually that is the younger person. It might even be someone that's straight out of college that you just hired. But make sure first that they understand your brand and your customers, and that you give them a few guidelines on what you want to promote. If for you decide events are the most important thing, that's something that they can focus on their page. They also might have daily specials, and these are things, James, that the businesses are already promoting in their store. So why not promote it online so that people that aren't in their store can find it? That's what happens a lot of the time. When I develop strategies for people, I look at the rest of their marketing. I look at what they're doing in their stores. 9 times out of 10, we can grab a lot of that and just share it more publicly online so that people can find it and know about it. A lot of times people don't even know that that's an option. Oh, I didn't know that you guys had happy hour. I didn't know you guys had live bands. I didn't know that you had poker night on Mondays. And they're going to find out through social media and through Facebook and through their friends that like the page. That's how they're going to find out. And it's very easy, and I usually do train someone that works in-house with a company that is at even a starter level position, but that can just enjoy social media and understand the brand voice of the company that they're representing, and understand that everything that they're doing is public. So what they say can make a great effect for the company, and it's important that they know what the goals of the company are.
What are some action items that you would recommend to a company that's saying, hey, Steph, this sounds pretty interesting, and okay, I'm sold on at least giving Facebook a good try. What should be their action items?
So the first action item is go on Facebook and search your own company name and try to see what's out there, because sometimes, maybe someone had set up a page, or, maybe someone else set up a page for you that didn't even work with you. What you can do is merge pages, location, places, and those are all business pages. You can try to merge those together. So the first thing you want to do is see what's out there, and then you want to try to secure your business name. So you also want to check Facebook and see if someone else owns it. There's a chance there might be, my company's called Micromedia Marketing, and I know there are other companies that are called that. I was lucky enough to be able to secure that name on Facebook, but that's something that you want to check out. If your name is already taken, then there are other names that you can come up with that still include your company name, and you might want to add USA or Canada or something to the end of it that has your location in it, and that way it's an easy way for people to find your company name and the location. And there's still other variations of your name, and Facebook even gives you additional options to show you ideas of what your name could possibly be. First, you secure your name. You want your name to match your brand and your website and anything else that you have going on. Once you have your page, once you have your page set up, you want to include a logo that's going to be the profile picture, and that's 200 by 200, and it's like a square image. You want to make sure it has the name of your company and possibly your logo or a nice image. And then you want to update a cover photo, which is the larger image in the background. Usually that's kind of what you would include, maybe in a header image for your company website. Just make sure that it doesn't have anything that has your website or your phone number, because that information is going to go right in the About section. So once you have your images set up and your About section set up, you can then actually build your audience. So it's very easy. When you're the manager of a page, at the very top, the second button is called Build Audience. Building your audience can allow you to invite your email contacts, to invite your friends on Facebook, and to share the link to your page on Facebook. These are all free options. It's a great way to get a good base of followers before you start, promoting it even more. It'll get maybe, I've seen usually like a couple hundred friends and family members to go in and to like your page. The other option is to also create an ad for your page, that's not something that you have to do in the beginning. What I would recommend, more than even creating an ad, is actually promoting it in your store. So what you can do is set up your page, make sure you secure the right name before you start promoting it, because you want to make sure that it has a nice logo, a nice picture, that it's easily found, and that you can make a couple updates. And then once you figure that out and you have it the way that you want it to look, then you promote it inside your store. And promoting it in your store, all that means, if your company name is Micromedia Marketing and you secure that name on Facebook, then you would go ahead and promote Like Us on Facebook at facebook.com/Micromedia Marketing. And that's a very easy way that you can get people to like your page. You can also set up incentives, maybe a 10% off if you like us, or $10 off if you bring a friend in or you get a friend to like the page. Incentives are a great way, especially if there are specials that you're already offering anyway. A lot of stores run daily specials, or they might want to run specials for the holidays. If you're already offering that special in the store anyways, it's a great time to offer it through Facebook, and that way you have more people liking your page. And you can also do the same thing for recommendations. When you have a Facebook page that's a local page, people can actually go in and write you recommendations. The more recommendations you get, the better. And we shared it a little earlier that recommendations actually are becoming searchable. So if someone finds reviews or recommendations, they can find you more easily. If you promote recommendations and start building those up, it's going to be really great for your business. And it's something that's easy to do.
There's the type of people out there that I like to call the do-it-yourselfers. There's definitely those type of people that like to learn how to do this themselves. They have the time, and it's better suited to their personality. Then there's the other types of people that would just prefer to have somebody take care of all of this for them. Let's talk to the do-it-yourselfers first, if we could, that are looking for maybe a little bit of coaching on how to take these strategies and these tips that you shared. Of course, you're an instructor at the School of Internet Marketing, and you've got a course there that walks people step by step through the process. It's 6 sessions, easy to consume, and by the time you're done with them, they do have their business page all set up, and they've got a good kickstart to launching their Facebook presence. In addition, though, you also offer some services at Micromedia Marketing. Could you talk a little bit about your offering?
Sure, absolutely. For the busy business owner or someone that might want additional help, we do everything from A to Z, so we can actually go ahead and set up the pages for you that you want. So if we decide, okay, a business page is going to be the best route, we can gather some information from you and actually set up the business page, and we can actually design a Facebook cover photo and get everything set up exactly the way you want it. And like I mentioned, we think a menu is something that you need on your page as a Facebook tab. We can set that up for you, so you don't have to worry about any of the setup side. And then we can help you work on your strategy. What I mean by working on a strategy is having a calendar that has a day-to-day plan from Monday through Friday, so that way you know what's going to be going up on your page, and it's probably the best, most relevant information for that given day. We really plan something out that's unique for each company, and we look at who they're trying to talk to, and we put together strategic messages through social media that can go more viral, that are very brandable. So the strategy is the second step. And I would recommend, whether you're doing this on your own or through a company, to make sure that you have a plan of action first before starting to have someone manage your page. You want to approve that and make sure that you're happy with the messages that are going to go out. You know, it makes more sense to have a plan. You don't want to just wake up and say, what am I going to share on Facebook today? You want to actually think about, on Friday, it is happy hour, so we really want to feature happy hour. And that's what we're going to post about today, and that's what we're going to post about on most Fridays. You want to have it more well thought out. After the setup and the strategy is taken care of, it's really about dedication and time, and you want to manage your page and make sure that when you post something, it's relevant to when your audience is going to see it. James was talking about the bartender that was spending a lot of time on his cell phone at work. Well, that's true, Ideally, you want to post something during work hours because Facebook users do spend, and even internet users do spend most of their time during the day on Facebook while they're supposed to be at work. And it's usually in between around lunch hours. If you think about your time, you want to post either a little bit earlier than lunch or around and after lunchtime. If you post something at 10 o'clock at night, someone might be sleeping or they're watching TV or they're doing something else. They might not be on Facebook. So you want to ideally think about the time in which you're posting, and then you want to go back and monitor, depending on your level of activity, or you can do it by checking your email notifications or your phone notifications. And that's when you go back and reply to people, because you want to have conversations with people. You want to build relationships. Just like you would spend time building relationships offline, you do the same exact thing. It's like networking online. And what's nice about networking online is it's public. So other people get to see the good relationships that you start building, and even you can cross-promote people you already have relationships with. After the monitoring, you can actually go into the analytics side and see who's in your page and see the kind of growth that you've received from all this. Because at the end of the day, the great thing about social media is it's interactive. With the newspaper, they can tell you that they send it to 5,000 people, but you can't see if that was a woman or a man that got the newspaper. And you can't see if they actually looked at your article. You can't see if they shared your article with someone else. But with social media, you can actually see all this fantastic information. You can see who's in your page. You can see who's actually commenting in your page, when they do it, what they like the most. If you find out the video from that band got 1,000 views and everything else that you did got 200 views, everything else got 5 likes, and the video got 50 likes, you can say, wow, people really did love that band. Let's bring them back again. That kind of information you just can't get anywhere. With Facebook, you can. You can track it all, and you can see very specific data about your customers. It's just amazing the information you can get for free.
Let's talk a little bit about the school, if we could, and your course. I know it's 6 easy video lessons. It's designed in such a way for busy people. And I guess it's also, you mentioned employees, I mentioned employees. I guess for the small business owner as well that is looking at this and maybe they don't have the budget. And I'd like to maybe quiz you a little bit on what people should be budgeting to hire a service like yourself. But before we get there, let's talk about the course here, if we could, because you could, I guess a business owner could put one of their sharper social media type employees in front of this video series, and you do walk them through step by step.
Absolutely. We're going to go into very detailed, everything you need to know from beginning to end. So I talked about everything from setting up so that you want to make sure your pages are set up properly. I'm going to show you how to set up the pages the right way, how to make sure, you're maximizing everything that you're doing, how to post something. There are the best ways to post something, ways that things will get shared and viewed more. And we're going to show not only how to set things up, but how you want to post something. We're also going to talk about how you want to develop a strategy and what that means, how to best monitor things. There are a lot of ways that you can plan things out and you can schedule things, and it just makes your life a lot easier. So we're going to go over all those very specific details, and then we're going to get into a little more advanced things, which is how to grow your pages, how to target zip codes, and you want to target very specific topics of your ideal customer. Who is that? And I bet you anything that they're on Facebook. So I can show you how we're going to find those people and get those people in your page. Because you know what? It's not about quantity, it's about quality. You don't want 1 million people in your page. You want 1,000 or 10,000 or even 500, but you want the right people in your page. That's how you're going to really grow your business and get more long-term customers, is to really be active with them. So we're definitely going to go into all of those details.
And, of course, they can find out more on that at the schoolofinternetmarketing.com with the schoolofinternetmarketing.com. Now, lastly, before we go here, talk a little bit about your services as far as what a budget should be expecting to spend for proper coverage of something like this.
Sure. If you're talking about a setup, we actually have a very cost-effective rate. We set up more than one social media platform, so we'll set you up with Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, Google+, Pinterest, and YouTube, and we'll actually also do a strategy for you that has a lot of good information about how you can post daily on these platforms, and also explains how each platform is different. That actually starts at $1,000, but with Coffee Talk listeners, we're going to give them 10% off, so you'll save $100 as long as you mention that you came from Coffee Talk.
We analyze your company and all the platforms that we would recommend that are the right fit for your company, and we actually go in and set everything up for you. Now, that's just to give you an idea of what we do with setup, and I know we were talking about that a lot because today we were getting into the basics. But if you want to get someone actually trained, I don't mind, and I personally do the training, and I don't mind if it's one person or if it's 10 people. I just charge for my time. My rates are $125 an hour to do that hands-on training with your team or with an individual. When it comes to us managing, so if you say, you know what, Stephanie, I really want an expert managing my pages, or I don't have anyone here, or I don't have the time, that's important. Don't get someone trained if they really just don't have the time to dedicate, because it's not going to be worth anything to you if they're not going to spend that hour or 2 hours or 30 minutes a day. If they're not going to put in that effort and time, you're not going to see results from it. So make sure that you have that. If you don't have that and you want someone to take over your social media management, that's what we do for over 75% of our clients. We really are experts in managing the day-to-day for you, and that starts at $1,250 a month. And it includes so much time, not only with the management side, but we actually spend one-on-one time with our clients, because it's very important for us to understand our clients' needs and who they're targeting, and that we're in the loop and in the pulse of what's going on. So we do have weekly calls with our clients, and we send them in-depth reports on generally what we offer through our company.
And typically, so we're clear, you said $1,000 for setup, and Coffee Talk listeners will get a 10% discount, so they'll save $100 if they use the coupon code COFFEE, and then $125 per hour for training.
This is for somebody that would just prefer to have somebody set this up for them and then take care of, train an employee or train themselves on doing the daily updates and engaging their audience themselves. How many hours of training would you recommend?
Okay, that depends, and I get that question a lot. It depends on the level that the person that I'm training is at. They have no idea about social media. It takes a lot longer. Usually they have a general understanding, but they don't understand the business side. But generally, I would say it takes about 5 to 10 hours to really get them up and running with the strategy and the understanding of the social media platform. But even once the general training's done, a lot of my clients like to have me overseeing their strategies. So that's based upon whatever the client requests for us to do. But a lot of times we end up still keeping in touch with our clients and building long-term relationships with them where we help them, because social media is always changing. This week Facebook launched that, and there were a lot of other updates going on through social media, and there's new social networks. So it's good to also stay on top of the trends and have someone helping you oversee your strategy. And a lot of times we'll have monthly or weekly calls with our clients even after they've had their basic training.
You also mentioned the $1,250, and of course we've been talking about Facebook in this session, and we do have other sessions that we chat with you about Pinterest and about Twitter. With the $1,250, is this Facebook only, or is this their entire social media?
This is Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, and just recently, this week, Google+. We've been doing Google+ before, but we just got it updated on a platform that we use, so we don't have to charge any additional cost for Google+. We can run all of those platforms, and with YouTube, we do help our clients with how to properly update their YouTube videos with the right keywords and the way that we do use that to tie that into our strategy. But the only platform that's usually additional is Pinterest, and that's because it's new. It's very different, and we spend a lot more time on it. It's just a different strategy. That's something I only recommend to brands that it works really well for, and it's known a lot for like home and garden and brands that are associated with women, because they have over 80% women users. So if I think that's going to work well, I definitely recommend it, and it's a huge traffic driver, and it's just booming. That's a whole new side on its own, and I'm sure we'll talk about that one day on another call, or you can learn more about that on courses that we're going to be doing.
How do people get a hold of you? Of course, I would encourage listeners, if they've appreciated the information that you've shared, and I'm sure they have, to definitely head over to facebook.com/micromedia marketing and like the page so you can stay up to date with Steph. Also, how do people get a hold of you if they're interested in learning about having this set up for them or possibly having you take care of everything for them?
On our website, micromediamarketing.com, there's a Contact Us page, but if you want to reach me directly, the best place to reach me is Steph, S-T-E-P-H, at micromediamarketing.com. I'm also starting a new thing that I'm doing, which is answering questions about social media on Twitter. If you just send out a message to me on Twitter with the @ @microsteph, I would be more than happy to answer any of your Facebook questions if you just have a quick question. If you want to get in more detail or want me to review your current social media initiative, I would love for you to send me an email.
Stephanie, any final words before we say goodbye?
Yes. James and I were talking about this a little bit, and I would love to do this. I would love to offer the first 20 people that get in touch with us, say that they came from Coffee Talk, I would love to offer free cover photos. This is a great way to help you get started with your Facebook page, and it's a very important part of real estate on the Facebook page. So we can design something really nice, and we can make sure it's within Facebook guidelines, and it's something that we can help you with. That's something that we'll do for free for the first 20 people that get in contact with us.
Now, is this a monthly offer, or is this a one-time offer?
This is something we can do on an ongoing basis, and we're going to start with 20 people each month, see how it goes. But if people need help with this, we're more than happy to send out 20 cover photos a month to Coffee Talk listeners.
Terrific. Stephanie, I want to thank you so much for sharing all the information you've shared with us today. It's just been great to chat with you. I've learned a lot. I'm sure the listeners picked up all kinds of tips. So thank you so much.
Wonderful. Thank you for having me.
To learn more about James Martell, the School of Internet Marketing, and how you or someone on your staff can quickly and easily learn how to develop a successful online presence for your personal or corporate brand, visit theschoolofinternetmarketing.com. That's www.theschoolofinternetmarketing.com.